Right, so religion, big question here in Heidelberg, as I said, 1556 Lutheran, a few years later Calvinists, very strict Protestants. The family became the leaders of the Protestant Union. Mannheim was founded as a place for the Protestant army. Yeah, this is why it was actually done like a chessboard, and the roads lettered and numbered for the army, and also have it nicely structured, all over the place. And no street names. Yeah, and it was surrounded by a star-shaped defensive wall. Right, so during the 30 Years' War, the big library, which used to be up on top of the galleries here, the university library, was taken away because the Pope had claimed it. He said, as the largest collection of Protestant thought, I want to have it and locked away till the remainder, of the days, because I want to keep it safe. And they took the castle library as well, 7,000, 8,000, 9,000 books on donkeys, and brought it to the Vatican, and they were gone. In the 19th century, they said, excuse me, but the castle library, that was mostly medieval novels, love novels actually, in high medieval German, so could we have those back, please? It's not religious at all. And they agreed. So a few hundred books were returned, but the remainder will stay in the Vatican, that's for sure. The precious books were chained onto the lecterns, so it was called the chain library. That was often done in medieval times, when books were precious, and you did not want any student to sort of kind of borrow them and never return them. They could have cost the equivalent of 10,000 euro, one, a piece. Right, so at the end of the 30 Years' War, the big churches that was part of the peace treatment had, on Protestant ground, had to enable Catholics to have their mass inside. How do you do that? Well, you cut off the front. So a wall was set up. This was a whole separate piece, of the church. This was Catholic, and then the nave was Protestant. So this was called a simultaneum, simultaneously to be used. This is why you have a side entrances here for the Catholics. This is why you have an organ here and an organ there too. They're not the original organs though, they're modern organs. No? But this is where Amadeus Mozart played. Wow. The organ, and this is where Albert Schweitzer, famous medicine doctor, medical doctor, he was, he played the organ really well too. He played in the Protestant part. In the end, that wall was gone, stayed till 1936, and then at last they tore it down. It was a very powerful character, the parson Hermann Maas, who talked to Catholics and Protestants, said, could we please get rid of this whole symbol of intolerance? And so at last the wall was torn down and gone. Hermann Maas, M-A-A-S, he's quite a famous German. He actually had arranged for Jewish children to be smuggled out of the country during the Nazi regime to England, where a bishop took care, to get visas for them, because they had actually closed their doors on the Jews, So it was not easy for him to get those children actually into Great Britain, but they worked closely together, they made it, and a few thousand children were saved. They found foster families for them in Great Britain. So Hermann Maas was discovered and put into a camp of hard labor, just survived, he was in his 60s already, and he was the first German to invite it to Israel. Actually, not Schindler, it was Hermann Maas, and the Garden of the Righteous, and the tree was planted for him. Very courageous person, quite a character. And thanks to him, the war was gone at last. Today we call it an unierte church, so it's a mix between Lutheran and Calvinist. As you can see, in the Calvinist church there wouldn't be an altar or cross, but here you have that as well. So it's a mix, because it had been both. First Catholic, then Lutheran, then Calvinist, then both for quite a while.
Are there services held here now?
Yeah, at every, I think, what is it, 12:30 for half an hour daily.
Daily.
Yeah, and then every Sunday.
And in what religion?
Protestant, what we call evangelical. Yeah. So we don't have these big differentiations between the Protestant churches.
Is
so
Lutheran not a big religion?
No, it's Protestant. So
just Protestant.
it's mostly Lutheran. Yeah, we call it evangelical. Yeah, so it's kind of unified.